What are the essential characteristics of the Supreme Court in fulfilling the role that you have just talked about?
It's the final court, or the essential characteristics for it to be able to do what it does. Yes, it has to be credible. It has to be effective. In fact, justice at any and every level has to be credible. It has to be effective. Credible in the sense that all things being equal, if you lost, you will feel yes, the facts didn't, or the law didn't favor you, and that's it. It shouldn't be that, and if you want to appeal, the appeal normally should be because you believe that your facts were not properly taken into account, or the law was not properly applied. So it's the facts and the law. If these two are handled properly, professionally, and as they are supposed to be, that's what we train as lawyers, and eventually you become a judge, and to be able to analyze facts and apply the law to it. And so appeals do not always, just because you've appealed doesn't mean you will win. Because sometimes the fact that you think the judge did not comprehend or did not take into account would be so minuscule that even if it is now taken into account, you still lose. So you can as an old judge once said, you can the court can be right and it can be wrong, and that's why there is a right of appeal. But there has to be also an end to litigation. That's why it's decided that this is the final court. So in Ghana, in terms of appeals at the Superior Court, you've got 2 bites at the cherry.
Right.
Yes. I see. And then the review is another kind of opportunity, but it's not an appeal, as I've said. Yes.
And at the apex court, what we've seen over the period is the question about the impartiality or the independence of the
exactly
itself.
Exactly.
How in the discharge of their duties are they able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that there is independence and there's impartiality?
Who's proving? The judge?
Yes.
It's not the judge's job to prove that they are independent or impartial, but that is how you do the job. It's a quality. It is a sine qua non. It is assumed. It's one of those things that should be assumed, because how do you get credibility? How can you be a credible judge if it cannot be, your independence is questionable? But you see, judicial independence is both internal and external. Internal in the sense that you're not taking sides. You've read this one, you've read and listened to this party, and you've read and listened to that other party, you've listened to the witnesses, you've done your research, you've looked at all the applicable laws, and you put it together to come to a conclusion as to who is right and who's wrong, because we do have an adversarial mode of arriving at our judicial conclusions. So primarily, you're not there to mediate between the parties. You're just going to decide this one is in the right and this one is in the wrong. This one wins and this one does not win. And to mitigate that, that is why for almost about 20 years now, the judiciary or the administration of justice has been adjusted in such a way that at the trial stage, you're given an opportunity to have the matter mediated. So you win some, you lose some. You owe me 10 million cedis, but if you will, if you will pay me 8 million today, I'll just drop it because I have taken other things into account. But that's at the trial stage. But strictly speaking, throughout litigation, all the way, the parties can always agree to mediate their dispute and settle it and announce their settlement to the court. In fact, there was once a case in the Supreme Court where we were ready with our judgment, and then the lawyer for one of the parties said he has been discussing the matter with the other lawyer, and they would like to be given the opportunity to settle it amicably. So we gave them, I think, 3 or 4 months, and they came back, and we were very happy with the outcome they had come with, because it was as it should be. It had to do with a community, and so they could now continue to be a community rather than disputants, and one lost and one won and one laughed at the other, and it leads to more fighting. Yes.
You see,